Good evening. Welcome to the July 23rd, 2018 Troy City Council meeting. Before we do the invocation this evening, I would like to recognize my friend, Don Edmonds, who passed away yesterday. Don was a longtime and current planning commissioner. He gave his heart to the city of Troy, and he will be missed by everyone. So if you would please join me in a moment of silence to Don Edmonds. Thank you, and God bless Don. I will miss our lunch meetings. Don would call me when he wanted to talk about Troy, and I'm going to really miss those lunch meetings. We are pleased this evening to have Vince Messina from Woodside Bible Church provide our invocation. So if you will please stand for that, and then remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We do thank you for the measure of health that's ours by your grace. Thank you for the things we've been already able to accomplish this day. We pray for this council and the agenda and the meeting that it will take place now. We pray that you would provide wisdom and discernment. Father, a sense of unity as decisions are made regarding this city. Thank you for each and every one who's here, their position, and Father, for the opportunity they have to lead in this city. We thank you for your watchfulness over our police department and our firefighters and our EMS workers. Pray your safety over them, Father, as they continue to serve this city. We thank you for what you will accomplish this night. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Troy City Council meeting is now called to order. The roll call, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Slater?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Abraham? Here. Councilmember Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Here.
Councilmember Henderson?
Here.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Here.
Councilmember Pennington?
Here. All present. First on the agenda are certificates of recognition and special presentation. We have two this evening. C1 is a proclamation celebrating 50 years for the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, and I would like to make that presentation to Amy Walmer, the SEMCOG's membership manager, if she would join me at the podium, please. I like to face the audience instead.
Very good.
Amy, it's an honor and a privilege for me to present a proclamation celebrating 50 years, 1968 to 2018, Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. And I'd like to read this as a great story. Whereas, as one of the proud charter members of the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, better known as SEMCOG, the City of Troy recognizes the accomplishments and dedication of the SEMCOG team for its 50 years of regional excellence in Michigan. And whereas SEMCOG was formed in 1968 as a voluntary council of governments for Southeast Michigan and includes 7 counties: Livingston, Macomb, Monroe, Oakland, St. Clair, Washtenaw, and Wayne. Today, SEMCOG has more than 170 members, including cities, villages, townships, intermediate school districts, community colleges, and all 7 counties. And whereas SEMCOG's primary functions include promoting informed decision-making to improve Southeast Michigan and its local governments by providing insight data analysis and direct assistance to member governments. They're promoting the efficient use of dollars for infrastructure investment and governmental effectiveness, developing regional solutions that go beyond the boundaries of individual local governments, and advocating on behalf of Southeast Michigan in Lansing and Washington. Whereas SEMCOG supports efficient management and improvement of public infrastructure, less traffic congestion, better traffic safety, improved air quality, efforts for business growth and entrepreneurship, and effectively connecting people to jobs. And whereas the next 50 years for SEMCOG will continue to be responsive to the needs of the region, such as the integration of autonomous vehicles and other transportation-related technologies, assisting members in supporting and serving our aging population, and numerous other issues affecting the local municipalities in the region. And whereas SEMCOG has opened an interactive exhibit in the Detroit Historical Museum to mark this anniversary, as the exhibit highlights its past successes and opportunities for exciting future. Therefore, be it resolved that Detroit City Council does hereby congratulate SEMCOG for its efforts in providing invaluable contributions and leadership to the Southeast Michigan region since 1968. And be it further resolved that Detroit City Council joins the citizens of this community to extend this proclamation of appreciation and recognition to SEMCOG in celebration of its 50th anniversary, and look forward to being part of its continued success in the next 50 years and beyond. Presented this 23rd day of July 2018, signed by myself, all members of City Council. Amy, congratulations, and please pass along our thanks to everyone at SEMCOG. Thank you.
I'll do that. Thank you so much. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and this is particularly meaningful for us coming from the city of Troy, because you've been a member of SEMCOG all those 50 years. So we truly appreciate your support and your partnership as we work to improve our region. I wanted to give you just a few updates of what SEMCOG has been doing this year. In the past year, we completed our regional forecast of population and jobs, and have taken those numbers now to the local level. So every municipality in the region, including Troy, has those numbers available for your community planning efforts. We also kicked off development of the 2045 Regional Transportation Plan, which includes analysis of regional trends and public outreach to gather opinions on transportation priorities. And as part of that effort, we held outreach meetings in each of our 7 counties, including here in Oakland County. We completed work on the Water Resources Plan. That plan contains policies that focus on water infrastructure, the blue economy, and natural resources. We're proud of that plan. It was recently recognized at the national level by the National Association of Regional Councils. And a part of implementing the water plan is SEMCOG's participation in Governor Snyder's infrastructure pilot program. This resulted in a first-of-its-kind roadmap for implementing a comprehensive asset management system for infrastructure, including roads, bridges, water, sewer, and public utilities. Legislation was recently passed creating the Michigan Infrastructure Council that will provide oversight and continue work on a statewide basis on that project. Another part of implementing the water plan is our work to visually map both water and bike hike trails in the region. This mapping will capture 360-degree imagery of these key assets. Think Google Street View, but for trails. That imagery this fall will be added to our Park Finder application, which provides information on recreation opportunities in over 2,600 parks in the region. For any park in the region, you can get information about the amenities it has, its size, and ownership of the park. Parkfinder is available in both the Apple App Store and on Google Play, so check that out and encourage your residents to check that out. Mark Miller recently attended an economic development forum hosted by SEMCOG where we discussed areas of great progress like technological innovations and advancements, and also talked about some of our biggest opportunities and challenges, which include the critical need for talent and a skilled workforce. On that note, we kicked off a future skills task force in May that will identify policies to help create future workforce, will help prepare the future workforce for lifelong learning in a rapidly changing economy. So those are a few highlights of the work that we're doing on behalf of you and the rest of our members. And thanks again for recognizing 50 years of local government partnership and working together. And Troy's been an important partner for all that time. Appreciate it.
We did receive a plaque from SEMCOG, and thank you, Amy, for that. I'm going to give it to City Manager Miller. Next on the agenda is C2, and this is a privilege and an honor for me to present on behalf of the Troy City Council and the City of Troy a service commendation to City Engineer Steve Van Det. If I could get Steve to come up here, please. How are you? Good. Council want to join me? It's okay, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Steve, as I indicated, this is really an honor for me to be here tonight to present this to you. You've been a great asset to the City of Troy. We've all gone through some toughies, and most of those toughies, nobody asked you whether you wanted to do it or not. It was just your job, and you did it, and you did it well. So I want to read this into the record because it's a great story about Steve. Whereas Steve Van Det began his career with the City of Troy on July 24th, 2000 as the city engineer. And whereas Steve was hired to manage the biggest road and capital construction program in the city's history. In the first 10 years, it averaged $20 million per year on projects that included widening most of the major arteries, of course, in the city, such as Big Beaver, Rochester, Long Lake, Livernois, Crooks, and DeQuinders, and of course numerous water and sewer and drain projects. So whereas Steve has a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering, class of 1976 from Michigan State University, go Green. He is a licensed professional engineer in Michigan, and prior to coming to Troy was Southfield's city engineer for 12 years and spent 4 years with private consultants Hubble Roth and Clark Engineering. And whereas Steve is the past president of the Detroit Metro branch of the American Public Works Association, better known as APWA, past president of the South Oakland County Municipal Engineers Association, and a longtime member of the American Society of Civil Engineers. Steve has over 40 years of municipal civil engineering experience, including redevelopment of brownfield sites and cleanup or contaminated sites caused by leaking underground storage tanks or former dumps. And whereas during Steve's 18 years of service with the City of Troy, he was responsible for 9 Michigan Charter APWA Project of the Year awards, including the Troy Transit Center, which He wasn't asked whether he wanted to do it or not. He just did it, and he did it well. This was a very complex and frustrating project, but yet it was the most satisfying project of his career. It won the Michigan Chapter APWA Project of the Year Award in 2014. Other award-winning projects included Rochester Road reconstruction, Big Beaver reconstruction, Long Lake reconstruction, and Troy Roads Rock. He headed up the Sylvan Glen Golf Course Stream Bank Restoration Project, which received the American Society of Civil Engineers Quality of Life Award in 2007. Whereas Steve retired from the City of Troy on July 28th, 2018, which is 5 more days, after 18 years of dedicated service and the utmost respect from the Troy employees and countless residents he has met and helped throughout all of the projects he was responsible for during his career with the City of Troy. And whereas Steve will now enjoy more time with his wife, Barb, who's here this evening. They've been married 41 years. Son Chad, daughter Heather, son-in-law Mike Castro, and granddaughters Kennedy and Sadie. Steve will also spend a lot of quality time camping, cheering for his favorite Spartans, and traveling. Now therefore be it known that the mayor and the city council of the city of Troy take this opportunity to express their appreciation to Steve Vandett for his professionalism and his many contributions to the city of Troy for the betterment of our community. And be it further known that the mayor and city council of the city of Troy, city management, and the citizens of the city of Troy extend wishes of prosperity, good health, and happiness to Steve during his retirement years. Presented this 23rd day of July 2018, Steve's signed by myself, all members of council. Thank you so much for what you've done for the city of Troy. It's been an honor to work with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I know most people take this proclamation and go, but I have just a few words to say this evening. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank my wife, Barb, and for 18 years with all the night meetings with city council, resident meetings, project meetings, where she was either home alone or home alone with the kids. And I would get home after these meetings sometimes with so much stuff in my head, I just had to let it out and talk about it. And then I was fine, and I could go to bed. I want to say that tomorrow, the 24th, is July 24th. It's the anniversary to the day that I started with the City of Troy on Monday, July 24th, 2000. And I remember when I was interviewed for this job, it was, I interviewed with John Zerleg, with John Lamorato, and with Gary Shripka. And John Zerleg said, you know, Steve, how would you feel about managing the largest road construction and capital improvement program in the city's history? How would you feel about that? And I thought, that's great. I love that. Construction is what I do. It's what I love. It's the planning. It's the engineering. It's the meetings, the pre-con meetings, the meetings with residents, and the construction and the final closure of the project. I love all of that. And I don't know if I said it that way during that interview, but that's how I felt. And hopefully it came across that way, and I guess it did. So here I am, and we did a lot of projects that were mentioned in the proclamation. And for 10 years, about $20 million a year in improvements. And then this little project called the Transit Center came along. which was not something that I asked for, and over the years, it felt like, because it went on for so long, it felt like I was the last man standing. But honestly, it was the most complex, frustrating, but yet rewarding, most rewarding project that I ever did. It's a milestone project of my career, and I will always be proud of it. In fact, in August, I booked my train ticket to Chicago, round trip out of the Troy Transit Center, and I'll be going to the Chicago Air Show in the middle of August. It has been a long ride. There's been ups and downs. There's been bumps along the way. And through it all, I've had the trust and support of mayor and city council, several city council members, several councils in the past, and so forth. But along the way, and for the entire way, I should say, Lori Bloom, Bill Hootery, taking my position as city engineer, and Mark Miller. I want to say thanks especially to you three who have given your expert advice and support and help over the years that have made everything turn out the way it did. And I really appreciate everything you've done for me. I can't imagine a better city to work for. City of Troy is the best. And I'm thankful for the opportunity in the 18 years that I've had to serve as your city engineer. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Baker. I forgot to grab his nameplate that he wears when he's up here doing his engineering. So Steve, also on behalf of the City of Troy, put that somewhere where you have green and white.
You got it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Once again, congratulations, Steve. There are no carryover items this evening or public hearings. Oh, I take that back. We do have one public hearing. E1 is a reprogramming of Community Development Block Grant CDBG program year 2016 unexpected funds. So I will open that public hearing and ask Cindy Stewart to come forward to introduce this.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council again. Once again, we have some money left over in our CDBG funds from 2016. We planted trees on the east side of Section 25, got all the trees done, the labor, but we have $12,517 left over, so we have to reprogram it to another project, of which is the barn roof restoration. So we would like council's permission to do that. Otherwise, if we don't reprogram it, then we lose the funds.
Thank you. Any questions from council for Cindy? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item this evening? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and return it to the table for resolution. Mayor Pro Tem Abraham.
I'll move E1, reprogramming of Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Program Year 2016 unexpended funds, as printed.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Abraham, supported by Councilwoman Hoderick, that we approve E1, the reprogramming of Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Program Year 2016 unexpected funds, as printed in the agenda packet. Any questions from council? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Slater?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Councilmember Pennington?
Yes.
Motion passes. I don't see that anyone has signed up for public comment on items on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. Therefore, there will not be any response from City Council or City Administration. There are no postponed items, so we will move to regular business. I-1, Board and Committee appointments. There is one mayoral appointment that I would like to move this evening, and that is the appointment of Robin Beltramini to the LDFA, which is the Local Development Finance Authority Committee, for the term that expires 6/30/2022.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilman Henderson, that we appoint Robin Beltramini to the Local Development Finance Authority, better known as the LDFA, for the term that expires 6/30/2022. Questions, comments? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Pro Tem Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Councilmember Pennington?
Yes.
Mayor Slater?
Yes. Thank you again to Robin for volunteering for that important committee. There are no City Council appointments this evening, so we will move to I-2. There are no mayoral nominations, so I would defer to Mayor Pro Tem Abraham for City Council nominations.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one nomination to make, and that is for the Liquor Advisory Committee for the term that's currently vacant, expiring January 31st, 2019, and the nominee would be Michael Pendy.
I'm sorry, what's the name again?
Michael Pendy.
Michael Pendy.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Abraham, supported by, was that Councilman Hamilton? To nominate Michael Pendy to the Liquor Advisory Committee for the term that expires 3/31/2021.
1/31/2019.
Got it. Thank you. Any comments or questions on that? The vote?
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Councilmember Pennington?
Yes.
Mayor Slater?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Abraham?
Yes.
Motion passes. There is no request for closed session this evening, so we will move to consent agenda. Anyone on council wish to pull a consent agenda item this evening? Councilman Henderson.
I'd like to move all items on the consent agenda as printed.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Henderson, supported by Councilman Hamilton, that we approve all items on the consent agenda as presented in the agenda packet. Questions or comments? Just a comment on J10. I always make sure that I vote in favor of representing the city. I don't think we should ever default on a lawsuit because we didn't vote yes on it, and I'll leave it at that. The vote, Ms. Dixon?
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Councilmember Pennington?
Yes.
Mayor Slater?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Motion passes. If you were here on a consent agenda item, they've all been approved this evening. Next is memorandums and future council agenda items. There are none submitted this evening. Next is public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. And I will call upon Aaron Green, Troy resident, who wishes to speak. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight is a much calmer night, and so I'm up here just to, I missed something last time. Not to drag everything back up, but thank you to City Attorney Bloom, Acting City Manager Mark Miller, and for the statement that you put out last time. Moving on, we do have a primary coming up. I know that you're all aware. I know there's a lot going on. I don't know if you're aware, there's a new petition circulating regarding essentially using the public to bypass council to implement medical marijuana in the city of Troy. I just wanted to make you aware that that is going to, that there are petitions circulating on that. I don't think that's going to be on the 7th of August, but there are plenty of other things that are worth looking at. And I was speaking with City Clerk Dixon earlier, and I know that we need volunteers for election inspectors, not just for this fall, but for the upcoming election. So I know you're not eligible, but if you know anybody, it'd be great if you could suggest that to get in contact with the city clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes those that have signed up to speak for public comment on items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. Any council or administrative response or reply? There are no council referrals this evening, so we will move to council comments. Any comments from council this evening? Councilman Hamilton.
I just want to thank you, Mayor, for your kind words about Don Edmonds. I met him first last year, and he also meant a lot to me and was someone who inspired me to strive for public service, so I'll miss him a lot.
Thank you. I'm sorry if you didn't sign up to speak. We've.
Where there was somewhere to sign up.
I'm sorry, but the time is. We're going to keep moving forward, unless council would like to waive the rules.
Do you have a comment?
I'm wrapping my head around what's.
We didn't know there was a signature that we had to sign up somewhere.
This is. I'm sorry, but we do not interact with the rules and regulations that we have are printed in the agenda packet, and we do not interact with the audience at this point. Councilwoman Hoderick.
I wanted to make a comment about Mr. Vandette and his career here. I see many young people here tonight taking in the council meeting, and I wanted to point out that he had a career as a public servant that was extremely rewarding to him, serving the public, and he was a valuable member of the city staff team here. He took his job very seriously and enjoyed a wonderful career, and it's not always not every meeting that we get a chance to honor someone for that type of service, and I'm glad you had a chance to witness it. And I know as you're working through high school and looking at future careers, you heard him talk about the highs and the lows of the work, and in the end, retiring as a very happy man because he served the community well with his engineering career. So, you know, the public servanthood and the work that goes on, and specifically in our local municipalities, in our backyard, these are the reasons we can turn on our water. I always joke that we can flush our toilets because of these folks that do this kind of work. It's civilization exists here, due to this kind of work. And I just want to speak to the value of these careers and this work, and how proud we are of our employees here in Troy and the work that they do for us. And I would hope that young people will look and consider these careers going forward.
Thank you. Other council comments? Councilman Pennington.
Just want to make a quick comment on Don Edmonds on his passing. He was very encouraging to me. We oftentimes hear from the ninny and nabobs of negativity, but you don't hear from people that encourage you very often. And Don was very encouraging to me whenever we were in a tough spot in a situation that was fraught with controversy. And I want to thank his family for letting him serve the city of Troy on the Planning Commission for those years, and he will be greatly missed. He was a great man.
Thank you. Councilman Henderson.
And I'll add to that as well. Don is the consummate gentleman, and it was just a pleasure to know him. Ida has always had kind words for me every time we see each other, whether she agrees with decisions that I've personally, gotten involved with or not. She always gave me an encouraging word. So I appreciated his friendship and the things, the effort that he put into the job that he had here, and he'll be missed.
Mayor Pro Tem Abraham.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to recognize Steve Bandette. He not only brought a wealth of knowledge to the city, he brought a passion to the job. He motivated others. He brought something to the table because he loved what he did. There are some that may think civil engineering not the most exciting thing, but when you talk to him, you became interested because the passion came out and you understood what intrigued him so much and could appreciate just how much effort, how much skill and cross-functional knowledge it took. So we will miss him very much for the brain drain that he takes with him, but also the passion as well. Now that said, I see Mr. Hootery over there, and if there's anyone that could come close to that passion, it's Mr. Hootery. So same thing with the skill set. So I congratulate you on your new position as well, and I know we're in good hands. I too wanted to recognize Don Edmonds. I think he was a mentor to everyone that's sitting here at this table in one way, shape, or form, and for previous councils. Don had been on Planning Commission for many years, decades probably, and his wife Ida had served also for decades, but on the school board. Those two were the models of volunteerism in this community, and the two of them saw Troy through a lot of growing pains. There's a reason why Troy developed into the city that it has, whether it's with the expansion on Big Beaver Road or we call the new Troy High that's been around for 20 years. These two were visionaries in what they did, and the city of Troy looks the way it does because of them. So I want to express my gratitude for Don and Ida. We will miss Don tremendously, not just professionally, but personally. Those two have been the most encouraging supporters of every person up here, regardless of whether they agreed with them or not. And they always had Troy top of mind in everything they did. So we'll miss you, Don. I'm trying to imagine Planning Commission without you, and I can't.
Very well. Anyone else on council wish to speak this evening? I'd just like to leave with just saying once again that Don Edmonds was a very close friend of mine. He's somebody that if I needed to bounce something off somebody, I called him, and then he would call me and we'd meet for lunch. And he's one of the kindest, most gentle persons that I've ever met. He was a lot like my father in that regard. And when you look up the word good in the dictionary, you see Don Edmonds there. He's just a good man, and I'm going to miss him tremendously. Ida called me today, and we had a good talk. But she told me Don's in a better place, and that's true. So I look forward to seeing him again. That concludes council comments. Anyone wish to make a comment on the reports that were in the agenda packet this evening? Councilwoman Hoderick?
I wanted to just note I have to find my spot. Taking in the comments about Don, and that I apologize. The certificate of accreditation that Alliance Mobile Health has earned, I wanted to just acknowledge that they're great partners with our police and fire here in the city, and really respect the organization for the work they did on this accreditation and applaud them for it.
I agree. Thank you. Any other comments from council? I don't see that anyone has signed up for comments on items on or not on the agenda from members of the public outside of Troy this evening. It's unfortunate if there was somebody wishing to speak this evening and didn't sign up, but hopefully you'll come back at the next council meeting and we can listen to your comments at the next meeting. There's no closed session this evening, so we are adjourned. Thank you for coming this evening.